John walked down the dimly lit aisle of the spaceship, looking for his seat. As he sat down, the woman next to him said, "Hello, I'm Clara." He replied, "John. First time flying through hyperspace?" Clara nodded. "Yeah, it seems a bit surreal." John chuckled. "You get used to it. I travel a lot for work." The captain's voice came over the intercom. "Good morning, passengers, this is Captain Smith. We are now preparing for hyperspace jump in 5 minutes. Please fasten your seatbelts." Clara tightened her seatbelt nervously. "I hope I don't throw up." John reassured her. "Don't worry, most people feel fine during the jump." The ship began to shake and vibrate violently as it entered hyperspace. Clara held on tight and closed her eyes. After a few minutes, the shaking subsided and the ship was cruising smoothly again. Clara opened her eyes and sighed in relief. That wasn't so bad. John smiled. "See, I told you." They began to get to know each other, talking about their jobs and lives. After an hour, they arrived at the space station orbiting Saturn. As they walked out of the spaceport, Clara said, "John, thanks for reassuring me during the flight. Would you like to get a drink at the observatory cafe?" John replied, "That sounds great." They walked to the cafe and sat down with a view of Saturn and its rings. As they sipped their drinks, Clara said, "John, it's amazing that we can travel to other planets so easily now." John agreed. "It really is. When I was a kid, space travel was still really expensive and unavailable to most people. Look at us now, taking an interstellar flight for a weekend trip." Clara smiled. "I know what you mean. My grandparents could never have imagined anything like this. The progress we've made is incredible." The bartender Sally overheard their conversation and chimed in. "Technology changes so fast these days. Just think, in another 50 years we'll probably have warp drive and colonies on Mars." John nodded. "You're right. The pace of innovation just keeps accelerating." Clara raised her glass. "Here's to the future of space exploration." John and Sally raised their glasses. "To the future." They all laughed and continued chatting as they watched Saturn's rings glow orange in the window. John and Clara left the observatory cafe and walked out onto the promenade, marveling at Saturn's rings glowing brightly in the space station window. They made arrangements to meet up the next day to explore more of the station together. The next morning, John arrived at Clara's door. Clara answered, "Good morning, John." John replied, "Good morning, Clara. Are you ready for our adventures today?" Clara said, "I'm so excited. Where should we go first?" John suggested, "How about we take a spacewalk around the station? The view is supposedly incredible from out there." Clara agreed, "That sounds perfect." They made their way to the airlock and suited up in their spacewalk gear. As the airlock cycled and the outer doors opened, Clara gasped. "John, the view is stunning." John replied, "Clara, look over there. You can see 2 of Saturn's moons." Clara turned and spotted the moons, their craters clearly visible. "This is amazing, I could look at this view all day." John chuckled, "Me too, but we have so much more to see. Shall we continue our spacewalk?" Clara nodded excitedly, "Absolutely." They spent the next hour floating around the exterior of the space station, taking in the spectacular panorama of Saturn and its rings. As they made their way back to the airlock, Sally spotted them from one of the station's windows. Sally waved and said, "John. Clara. How was your spacewalk?" John replied, "Sally, it was incredible. The view is just breathtaking from out there." Clara chimed in, "You really must try it, Sally. I'll never forget this experience." Sally smiled wistfully. One of these days, when I save up enough credits. In the meantime, would you two like to see the Holocene deck with me? John and Clara said in unison, we'd love to. The trio made their way to the Holocene deck, where they spent the afternoon exploring simulated environments from across the galaxy. Snowy forests on Tau Ceti 3, canyons on Mars, tide pools on Europa. Each simulation transported them to another place and time, kindling their sense of wonder at the universe's diversity. After several simulations, the group exited the Holocene deck. Clara sighed contentedly, that was just the escape I needed today. John nodded in agreement, the Holocene immerses all your senses, it truly feels like you're somewhere else. Sally chuckled, and it's a lot cheaper than interstellar travel. The group shared a laugh, bonding over their shared sense of adventure and curiosity about the galaxy. Over the next few days, John, Clara, and Sally continued exploring the space station together, learning more about each other's lives and dreams for the future. Their conversations ranged from the hilarity of spacewalk mishaps to the possibilities of alien intelligence somewhere out in the cosmos. Together, they were reminded of humanity's spirit of exploration, a spirit that would one day carry humans to the farthest reaches of the galaxy and beyond. John, Clara, and Sally were enjoying their holiday on the space station orbiting Saturn. Their days were spent exploring simulated environments, experiencing the wonder of spacewalks and dreaming of the galaxy's possibilities. However, little did they know that danger was approaching. John said, the view of Saturn never gets old. Clara replied, I could watch the rings forever. Suddenly, the space station shook violently. Sally warned, that felt like an impact. Before they could react further, an alien spacecraft flew into view. It had clearly collided with the station, causing the earlier tremor. John asked, are we under attack? Clara said nervously, it doesn't look friendly. The alien ship fired weapons at the space station, damaging its outer structure. The alarm klaxon sounded and evacuation warnings blared over the intercom. John said determinedly, we have to get to the escape pods. As they started making their way through the panicking crowd, alien soldiers began boarding the station. They fired indiscriminately at the fleeing humans. John shouted, run! The trio fled down the corridor, dodging weapon fire. Clara said, they're gaining on us. Sally responded, we have to fight back somehow. She pulled a fire extinguisher off the wall and hurled it at their pursuers, causing one of the aliens to stumble. This brief distraction allowed John, Clara, and Sally to reach the escape pod bay. They piled into an escape pod and launched away from the station just as more alien soldiers entered the bay. Clara breathed a sigh of relief, but John warned, we're not safe yet. Sally said, that alien ship is changing course to intercept us. John responded, brace for evasive maneuvers. He piloted the pod in extreme evasion patterns to avoid the alien weapons fire. Clara used the pod's laser cannon to target the alien ship's engines. After several tense minutes, the alien ship retreated. Clara asked, why would they attack the space station and then leave? Sally theorized, maybe this was just a test. A show of force. John frowned, if that's true, then there will likely be more attacks to come. The trio looked out at Saturn, wondering what dangers the future may hold in store. For now, they were alive, and determined to fight for the freedom of space exploration. Sally said, we need to warn the other space stations and colonies. John replied, you're right. If those aliens attack again, we'll need all the help we can get. Clara chimed in, but how? Our communications were knocked out when the station was hit. John thought for a moment, then said determinedly, I have an idea. I'll pilot the escape pod back to the alien ship and try to hack their communications. Sally protested, that's a suicide mission. John responded, it may be our only chance. I have to try. Before they could argue further, the alien ship changed course and flew directly toward the escape pod. An alien voice came over the radio. Grelek said, "Human vessels, you will power down your engines and prepare to be boarded." John responded, "We will do no such thing. Why have you attacked our space station?" Grelek replied coldly, "Your technologies have advanced too rapidly. You are a threat that must be contained before you spread beyond your solar system." Clara angrily spoke up, "We just want to explore and discover. We're no threat to you." Grelek replied, "Your exploration ends today. Power down or we will destroy you." Sally nervously asked, "What do we do?" John thought for a moment, then said calmly, "Grelek, we do not wish to fight. If we power down our engines, will you hear us out? There must be a peaceful solution." Grelek considered for a moment, then said, "Power down your engines and I will hear what you have to say. But make no aggressive moves." John replied, "Understood. We are powering down now." The escape pod's engines shut off and it drifted helplessly as the alien ship approached. Grelek said, "You have 1 minute." John calmly replied, "Grelek, violence will only breed more violence. If we talk, perhaps we can." Suddenly Clara activated the escape pod's weapons and fired at the alien ship, causing major damage. Grelek shouted furiously, "You lied. You will pay for this," as the alien ship retreated hastily. Clara said grimly, "That gave us time. But not for long." John replied gravely, "Clara had no choice. Grelek would have boarded and captured us." Sally responded fearfully, "But now they'll be back with reinforcements. We're doomed." Clara spoke up determinedly, "Not yet, we're not. John, set a course for that alien ship." "I have an idea." John looked at her puzzled, then shrugged and complied, "All right, whatever crazy plan you've hatched, I'm in." As the escape pod approached the damaged alien vessel, Grelek's voice came through angrily, "Human vessel, turn back now or dash." Clara interrupted firmly, "Grelek, listen closely. We will offer assistance repairing your ship." The alien ship hovered motionless for a long moment, then Grelek replied in a cautious tone, "Why would you offer to help us?" Clara responded, "For the same reason we must coexist peacefully. Violence will only lead to more suffering for both our species." After another pause, Grelek said, "Land your vessel in our hatch. You will be searched for weapons before coming aboard." Clara glanced at John and Sally, a hopeful look on her face. John nodded and guided the escape pod into the alien ship's hatch. Grelek and 2 armed guards met them when the hatch opened. After searching and confirming the humans were unarmed, Grelek led them to the ship's engine room. Extensive damage lined the walls from Clara's attack. Grelek turned to Clara. "You have 5 minutes to convince me why I should not throw you into the vacuum of space for this." Clara met his gaze calmly. "Killing us won't repair your ship. Working together might." She gestured to the engine. "Our pod is small but effective. With the right resources, we can help you make repairs." Grelek considered this silently. Finally he asked, "What would you ask in return for your assistance?" John spoke up. "An end to this violence. A commitment to peaceful cooperation between our species." Grelek fixed his cold gaze on John. "You ask much for creatures who resort so quickly to violence." Sally stepped forward. "Please, violence was our last resort, born of fear. But we don't wish to be enemies. We only seek to explore and learn, as I suspect you do too." Grelek studied the humans for a long moment. Finally he said, "Very well. Prove you can repair my ship and we will continue this discussion." Clara smiled. "That's all we ask." Over the next few hours, John, Clara, and Sally worked alongside Grelek's engineers to repair the damage to the alien ship. Despite the language barrier, they found creative ways to communicate and cooperate. When the repairs were finally complete, Grelek brought the humans to the bridge. He turned to Clara. "You have held up your end of the bargain. Now we must hold up ours." Clara smiled. "Thank you, Grelek. I believe this is the beginning of a beautiful partnership between our people." Grelek nodded slowly. "Perhaps you are correct. Our species share the same desire to explore, to learn, to seek answers to the great cosmic mysteries." He turned to Pilot. "We have much to discuss." John, Clara, and Sally exchanged hopeful looks as the alien ship changed course, heading away from the damaged space station and towards Earth. Whatever lay ahead, they had taken the first steps towards peaceful cooperation, showing that violence was not the only way. The end.